The 2025 Formula One season ended a couple of weeks ago with Lando Norris as a new world champion, winning his first ever World Drivers' Championship. Today, we want to review the 2025 season and look back on what has been a very exciting season in hindsight. At the beginning of the season, we all predicted that McLaren would run away with the season and there would be no competition. But how wrong we were. Well, McLaren did run away with the Constructors' title. The driver's side of things was a different story. We saw Max Verstappen mount a late charge after the summer break and eventually finished just 2 points behind eventual winner Lando Norris. We saw Oscar Piastri storm to the European leg, sit pretty, almost more than 30 points ahead of Lando Norris, and then eventually finished P3 after a torrid run of form after the summer break. So that's the 2025 season. 3 drivers fighting neck and neck throughout the season. While it was an exciting season, we only had 4 race winners this entire season. That was, of course, the 2 Papaya boys, Max Verstappen and George Russell. George Russell pops up, Aniket. Once again.
Yeah, we are not counting the sprint race winners here. We're only counting the main race winners.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that means a season without another Ferrari
Yeah.
victory.
Yes, if you count the sprint race winners, we had Lewis Hamilton in Shanghai, and then we're back to, I think it was mostly just the other 3 drivers winning all the sprints. So that was, Lando Norris. Sorry, I was not ready for this discussion. But I think mostly just Lewis Hamilton who won the sole winner of the sprint, while we saw the other 3 McLaren drivers and Max Verstappen kind of divide the other sprint victories among themselves. But now we shall take a look back at the season. At the beginning of the season, we did a 2-part video series on 2026 predictions for the order of the constructors. So those links will be in the description. Make sure to take a look. But today we want to see how our predictions performed, how Aniket's and my predictions performed against the eventual constructor standings. So Aniket, are you ready to get embarrassed live on camera?
This is the last review of the season, so we're just going to go all in with what we had done at the beginning of the season. That also means Ferrari somewhere there with a high expectation which we had at the beginning of the season. So let's see how it actually stacks up against what happened at the end of 2025.
Yeah, let's see that. And going by the reverse order of constructors in the World Constructors Championship for 2025, P10 is Alpine with just 22 points. Alpine had, absolute disaster season, Aniket, for Alpine.
Yeah, I think it was written in the stars, right from the beginning of the season, that they're already looking forward to 2026 with the new Mercedes power unit. And they weren't really focused on making this kind of a memorable farewell season for Renault from the sport or something like that. So ended up being as disastrous as it could be with early season driver replacement with Jack Doohan going out and Franco Colapinto coming in. So not much to say about Alpine. I think few glimpses we had from Pierre Gasly in some of these races in the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, it's been a complete no-show from that team. So, I mean, there have been question marks about the team's existence in the future as well. Will they actually be invested in by the French company?
Yeah.
So, all to watch out. I mean, next year is going to be a year for them for the first time with another manufacturer's engines. So, we'll see how they fare along with the new regulations and the new power units and everything. But a season to forget for Alpine.
Yeah, absolutely. Season 2 forget. They were last in championship. They scored 22 points. Before we quickly recap the drivers, in our predictions, in preseason predictions, I did predict Alpine to be P10. But Aniket, you predicted Alpine to be P9. So I think you had a little more hope on them at the starting of the season. Alpine did eventually finish P10, as he said, and just 22 points. And all 22 points were from Pierre Gasly. So Jack Doohan in his 6 races to start, and Franco Colapinto in the other 18 scored no points at all. And they're also the only two drivers in the 21 that took part this year to finish with 0 points. So not a
Unfortunate.
yes, very unfortunate season for them. Pierre Gasly had what 5 points finishes and a couple of sprints points finishes. So he finished what? He finished seventh in Bahrain, eighth in the Miami sprint, eighth in Barcelona, sixth in Silverstone, 10th at Spa, and eighth in the Sao Paulo sprint and 10th in the Sao Paulo race, giving him a grand total of 22 points. And he also had a DSQ in China, and he had a couple of retirements. Franco Colapinto, on the other hand, well, wow. He had a DNS in Great Britain because I think he had a crash in, I think, practice of qualifying. I think qualifying, which led him to not be able to start the race. But he didn't have a retirement, Aniket. So I did not expect that Franco Colapinto would not have a single retirement this season.
I thought the damage bill would be way more than what it was in the
Exactly.
end. So
Yeah.
that's a surprise.
Yeah. Doohan had
But
two
he did get a
retirements.
contract
Pierre
extension.
Gasly had a couple of retirements. But yeah, good.
Yeah. But probably that gave him a contract extension, right? I think Alpine
Yeah.
was like, let him not crash and we'll give an extension. So that's what
No
happened.
DNS. Please sign the contract. That's Franco Colapinto's season. But yeah, overall disappointing season for Alpine. Like you said, next season the hopes will be high on Alpine. I mean, we've been hearing that from a long time, haven't we, Aniket? Right from the days of El Plan when Fernando Alonso made a comeback. So we'll see how they fare next year with the Mercedes power unit, which they also announced this season to the dismay of a lot of Alpine fans and
Alpine
also
nationalists,
Alpine
Alpine loyalists.
Alpine loyalists. Even
I don't know who those people are, but
yeah, but I mean, there were reports that even the staff in the factory were very disappointed because it was supposedly said that they were pretty reasonably confident about next year's engine before that got the plug got pulled. I think earlier on this season. So yeah, nothing to write home for Alpine this season's last team. In P9, Aniket, with 70 points and just 9 points behind P8, we have kicked Sauber. Now, I did predict them P9 and you predicted them P10. So, well, they beat your prediction. But Sauber, again, they're going to be Audi from next season. And they had a rookie in Gabriel Bortoleto. And they're one of the most experienced drivers in Nico Hulkenberg, who got his first ever podium. So, what do you think about Sauber's
yeah,
season, Aniket?
I mean, definitely better than what I predicted. So I think they went above my expectations. They got, as you said, podium, which was a
Yeah,
surprise, a big surprise for Great Britain, where they took advantage of every damn thing. And Nico Hulkenberg got his first ever podium. So I think it's a, I would say, half decent season before they transition into
mm,
Audi for next year. So the Audi name comes with a lot of big expectation, a lot of big hope,
yeah,
and I think Sauber showed that they have a good team uh, who developed a half decent car for the year. I think Gabriel Bortoleto, if you come to the drivers now, Bortoleto and Hulkenberg both did show signs of glimpses in different parts of the season
yeah,
as
yeah.
to how
Hmm.
good each one can be based on if you compare a rookie versus a vet, as well as how good the car could be on certain occasions. So I think I have decent season as I kept saying a couple of times already. So and I mean, as you said, 8 points behind the team in eighth, so they could get as close as possible to the top eight finish. Yeah, I mean, Nico Hulkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto are staying for another year together, 2026. So that gives them continuity as they head towards the new regulations with the Audi brand. And
Yeah. Mhm.
much to look forward to. I think there's more excitement for this transition than, say, the Alpine transition to being a customer team now.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, a lot of excitement around the Audi rebrand. Audi brings a wealth of experience to motorsport. They have had success in other series and other competitions, so definitely there'll be a lot riding on the rebrand and the whole team makeover and overhaul that we have seen. Now, obviously, it won't happen in the first season right away, but I think Audi will definitely expect to do better than P9 in the constructors next season. And we also, yeah, I mean, come to the drivers, like I said, Nico Hulkenberg, first ever podium, the Hulken podium that we saw this year from him. But also, Gabriel Bortoleto, well, he did finish behind Pierre Gasly, who in an Alpine pipped him to in the drivers' championship. But Bortoleto just had he had 5 points finishes. His highest points finish was sixth at the Hungaroring. So he will definitely look to improve on that. But yeah, he definitely finished ahead of the other rookies, Jack Doan and Franco Colapinto. So yeah, we'll see how Sauber, excuse me, how Sauber does next season as Audi. But yeah, I think both of us are pretty close to how they would perform in the season, right towards the bottom. So yeah, I think we got that pretty close. Now let's move on to P8 in the constructors. Haas with 79 points. Now both of us predicted Haas to be seventh in the championship. They finished eighth, only 10 points behind Aston Martin, which is a surprising thing we will get to shortly. But Haas, again, they had two drivers. One, the experienced Esteban Ocon, and the other one was the rookie Ollie Behrman. And Aniket, what a season for Ollie Behrman, who finished ahead of Esteban Ocon in the championship. He had 41 points to Ocon's 38, and he also had a best finish. Ollie Behrman, that is, had a best finish of fourth at Mexico City, while Ocon couldn't finish above fifth, which he did in China. So, what does it say for Ocon? I mean, great season for Ollie Behrman for sure, but Ocon would be really disappointed with that season.
Yeah, I mean, getting outperformed by a rookie is definitely not a thing to write about. And Ollie Behrman definitely is a star for the future. You saw it in that glimpse he showed in his first race for Ferrari, and this season throughout, he's been. I would say he could have got a lot more points if he just got that one or two places. I mean, he was there on the fringes of the points like almost every other race.
Yeah.
There was a race where he consecutively finished, or there were races where he consecutively finished P11 or something
Yeah, he finished
and missed on
P11
points.
four consecutive times.
Yes. So he could have got easily got points if
Yeah.
things fell in his way in any of those races. So he's been very consistent throughout the season, and I think Ferrari is definitely keeping an eye on him for 2027. And I mean, again, we don't want his talent to be robbed by Ferrari cars, but unfortunately, that's the direction he's heading towards soon.
Oh my god.
But coming to Esteban Ocon, his first season at Haas, I think it's been a transition year for him as well. With new, what he was in Alpine last season, uh,
Yeah.
and now transition to Haas with Ferrari powered. So I guess that kind of took time with the transition and everything. And we'll see. I mean, it's always difficult to say how first season results are
Hmm.
when the whole regulation set will be changing. So I think with Ocon's thing, we have to see like how he fares next season with the whole new regulations as well. But I'm sure he would have liked to have some better results throughout the season. Certain races he was there or thereabouts, but he couldn't get that end
Hmm.
product delivered. And I think Haas are a stable team. They will be running again Ferrari power units next season. So we'll see. I mean, they hopefully they do better than this season. And I think Oli Behrman will gain more experience next season. Esteban Ocon will probably get a little more comfortable in the car in his second season there. So a lot more to come from them for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Haas definitely will be having high hopes. They also had a team principal change, I believe, this year. That was this year, right? Where they fired Gunther and
Yeah,
got
I think
the
last
new.
year.
Yes. Was it last year? Oh, yeah, that was last year. But yeah, I think Haas has had quite the um, not a very you know good outing. They were fifth in the third season. That was a high point. But ever since they have kind of underperformed, they've been ninth, 9th, 10th, 8th, 10th. They were seventh last season, but again they were eighth. Even though they scored more points this season than last year, um, they will look to improve a lot. I think they've gotten a lot of investment as well this year with Toyota pumping in a lot of money. And of course, Gene has also continued his support of his namesake. So, yeah, I mean, if they want to continue that sponsorship and investment, they would need to be a more consistent midfield team next year. We did see glimpses this year, like you said, but again, it was not enough. And the midfield was very tight this year.
Yeah,
Uh, we saw a lot of close midfield battles, different teams strong in different tracks, and like the gap. If you go from sixth to ninth, it's just 22 points covering those four teams. So it was a very very tight battle this season. So Haas will definitely look to build on this and have a much better outing. I mean, there are also multiple rumors that Toyota wants to kind of, at some point, may want to take over the team and become a proper works manufacturer in F1, like before, maybe from the 2030 regulation cycle. But we'll see. I think a lot depends on how Haas does now. It's a new regulation cycle. It's a clean slate for everybody, isn't it? So
yeah, yeah.
uh, I think Haas is also one of those teams that kind of punted the season pretty early and kind of sought to build towards 2026. So yeah, they again, I know we can say it's prudent for every team next season that they'll be having high hopes, given it's a new regulation cycle. But Haas will look to recapture some of their 2018 magic when they finished fifth in the championship. So uh, we will see how that pans out for them. All right, moving on to P7 is Aston Martin, and both of us predicted P6 for them, and they finished P7. Now, Aniket, what do you think? Aston Martin had a very weird season. In the beginning, Alonso could not score points even if his life depended on it. We saw Lance Stroll, you know, he had. I mean, what am I saying? Lance Stroll has just had 2 points finishes in the first half of the season, but
He did have a better start than Alonso.
yeah, he had a better start exactly because Alonso retired in his first two races. But then
Yeah,
Alonso eventually kind of, wow, he took him in the ninth race of the season in Spain. He finally finished P9 and started to get points. And eventually he scored almost double the points of Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll got 33 and Alonso got 56. But again, no podiums, no fighting for the top, nothing at all for Aston Martin. So again, Lawrence Stroll would be wondering, what the hell do I do with this team to make them perform better?
yeah. I mean, apart from firing a driver, it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's pretty
I
much
mean, so
end scene.
Adrian Newey's imprint, I would say, has not even been fully felt within this team.
Yeah, I think
And
New
the
Year's more for
2026,
next year, right?
he's probably been, he's probably been hired just for the 2026 regulations and so on. So I think the entire team is looking forward to next year. I don't think they put much impetus in developing the car at all for the season,
Hmm.
and they tried to do what they could in the second half of the season with Alonso getting a few better results here and there. I mean, the second half of the season mostly became famous for the Alonso DRS trains, where he just held up everyone,
Oh man,
and then
every race, man.
every other races we saw that
Even
kind of
Monaco.
helped
Remember
him.
Monaco? Was it this year or last year? I think that was last year.
Monaco was last year, I think,
Yeah, I
but
think it was last year
we've
because
seen
he
Alonso
retired
DRS.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
I think
mean,
we did see it in
Alonso, you
Abu
just
Dhabi.
remember that, right? Alonso and Aston Martin is just a bloody DRS train holding up the entire pack.
Yeah, he's very good at what he does in terms of the DRS train. So yeah,
He did
I
it in
mean,
Qatar too. He probably won Lando Norris the championship with this.
yeah, and also they're moving to Honda Power next season, becoming a works team under Honda. So again, a new transition for another team there, and I don't know how Honda Power is going to do versus Mercedes Power. So
But
this could be an
Aniket,
interesting change for them.
but come on, Aniket, you got to feel for Alonso. This man, when he came to McLaren, he had Honda Power, had a complete disaster. He leaves the team because of Honda Power, and then Honda goes on to win the championship with Red Bull, right after McLaren ditches him for Mercedes, and then now he's in Aston Martin, and they're coming back to Honda Power. Uh, if
Yeah,
this
I mean,
if
it's
this
fair
fails
play.
spectacularly, Alonso can't catch a break at all, man. He has to be the unluckiest driver in F1.
He already is because of his
Yes.
bad decisions and rash decisions. But I think Honda has matured quite a lot from that McLaren experience. They've gone on to win championship with Red Bull, and I believe that they're more like, I mean, they're a well-rounded engine manufacturer now. So them back in F1 with Aston Martin uh, is a good, I would say good. I think it will lead to a good camaraderie and everything. And with Adrian Newey as well, who's worked with Honda before in terms of development of the car around the engine. So I'm sure next season it will be even better for them. And it could probably end up being Fernando Alonso last season in F1.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna enjoy it. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy it from like a perspective that he's leaving, and thank God. But,
But you never know. You never know the Alonso, man. He has this is his third stint in F1, so he keeps retiring and coming back. So he left previously very early in the 2010s, went to do some IndyCar and all of that. I think not the second time, but yeah, he retired a second time. Did donuts with Lewis Hamilton, and then again came back with Alpine, and then had just a series of bad decisions. Left Renault, and then he left McLaren when the like just one disaster after another. But I mean, if you also look at Aston Martin's season this year, nothing really to write home about, right? They had a pretty ordinary season. No, I mean, their high point was Fernando Alonso finishing fifth in Hungary and sixth in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, that's what it. Lance Stroll had a sixth place finishing the season opener in Australia, who turns out actually drives well in the rain. Then yeah, both had a bunch of seventh place finishes, both Lance and Fernando. But yeah, let me ask you this: Will Lawrence Stroll ever fire his son?
I have no idea. There's no right or wrong answer to that question. But as of now, it doesn't look like he's going to do anything of that sort.
Hmm. Yeah, but it's also funny that
I mean, he
Lance
might
Stroll
fire
just had.
Adrian Newey before Lance Stroll.
I mean, that's very possible. But what's interesting is that Lance Stroll just had one retirement the entire year in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And in Qatar, he did not finish, but he finished more than 90%, so he got classified. So yeah, just one retirement the entire season, compared to Fernando Alonso, who had 5 retirements. And I'm not counting sprints here. I don't have sprint results in front of me, but Alonso had 5 retirements in full races this year, compared to Lance Stroll's one. Lance Stroll next year is our year, baby.
Lance Stroll for 2026 championship.
Yes, Adrian Newey, Lance Stroll, dream
Adrian
combination.
Newey rocket ship. Adrian Newey Lance Stroll championships is going to
Yes.
like be the icing on the cake.
Alonso still can't win.
I'll be so happy if Lance Stroll beats Alonso to the championship.
Oh man, you really hate Alonso, don't you?
I, after Verstappen, he's my second most least favorite driver. Or-
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, Lewis fans will relate to that quite well. Hating Lance Stroll. Sorry, hating Fernando Alonso. But yeah, let's move on. That was
Yeah,
basically another disappointing season for Aston Martin. Who had a series of disappointing seasons for the past few years. I think their high point was the pink Mercedes, Aniket.
yeah, yeah.
When was that? 2021, right? With Sergio Perez.
2020.
2020. Sorry, yeah. I think that was their high point.
And Sergio Perez won the race in Sakir.
Yeah, yeah. And also 2023, they did quite well. Alonso had a lot of
Yeah,
podiums.
the
They
first half
finished,
of the season. Yeah.
yes, definitely. They had four podiums in the first. Sorry, my bad. They had six podiums in the first half of the season and two in the second half. But yeah, Alonso did very well that year. Um, yeah. 2020, of course, they were not Aston Martin, they were Force India or what, Racing Point, whatever the team was called, man. They had too many names. But let's move on to P6. The P6 again, like I said, 6 to 9 separated by 22 points. Well, P6 was the one that pipped all of them. Racing Bulls, the Red Bull B team or junior team, whatever you want to call them. Racing Bulls, again, they had a driver change after just two races when Red Bull sent Liam Lawson back to them and took Yuki Tsunoda. A decision that Liam Lawson would be so thrilled it happened because at the end of the season, Aniket, Liam Lawson finished 5 points ahead of Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
Uh,
And he's
but
keeping his seat in F1.
and he's keeping his seat as well. But again, Racing Bulls after that driver swap had two rookies in Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar. But Isaac Hadjar, Aniket, a very very good
Rookie season.
rookie season for him, right? He had a podium in Zandvoort. A lot of points finished as well. Finished with 51 points in the season compared to Liam Lawson's 38. Lawson had a best finish of 5th at Baku. Hadjar obviously had that podium. What a season, eh? Hadjar, and of course Hadjar got the
Yeah.
promotion to Red Bull, demotion, however you want to see it,
Demotion.
to be Max
He got
Verstappen's teammate.
he's gone to do lower studies, not higher studies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I really hope though, but Hazard does a good job.
I
A half
mean,
decent
fresh
job at Red Bull.
regulations, the car won't be so tuned to Max at the starting, so he might do well.
Yeah.
Like we saw Sergio Perez in 2022 had a brilliant season.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Hazard's rookie season, I think he had a brilliant rookie season. I mean, he is the second best rookie to Antonelli in this season. So when you consider Antonelli had the far better car and everything, so great job from Haja. He deserved that Red Bull demotion, and I think you can't have the straight face. It's so difficult. So, uh, I think whoever his teammate was, I mean, be it Lawson or Sunoda, whatever, he did well against both of them,
Yeah.
and I think. Again, like he had races where he could have finished higher than what he did finish, and some of the races where he finished out of the points he could have finished higher. So the Racing Bulls cars were also surprisingly decent for most part of the season, and that helped him to improve the results with every race, gave him confidence in the car as well. So a good rookie season for him. I think Lawson also did pretty well after coming back to Racing Bulls. I think he obviously had much more confidence with the car and a much more, I would say a more trustworthy team and a team which he was more familiar with. So
Yeah.
low expectations as well. So no wonder he did well. And I think both of them head towards next season. Obviously now different teams, but with more confidence and stuff. And Lawson will be looking to, I think, look for other teams also from next season as well, based on how he does.
Mm.
And I think Racing Bulls don't know how much of support they will get from Red Bull next season, considering the new regulations and everything.
Yeah.
So it's also they're also going to be using the Red Bull powertrains. So sorry, the Ford engines or whatever it's called.
It's still Red Bull
So
powertrains. Ford is
yeah,
just, Ford is branding, but they're not really
the
developing the engine
branding.
as
Yeah.
such. Yeah.
So it's going to be a different engine for them as well, and I think Obviously, they're going to miss Laura Macias, who made the jump to Red Bull after
Yeah.
Horner got fired. So, I mean, I don't remember who their team principal is now, but uh, I think it's been an easy transition in that perspective as well.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, a good season for them in the end.
Yeah, good season. And if you think about Isaac Hadjar, Aniket, the way season started, right, at Australia, where he crashed on the formation lap and was pretty much in tears and had to be consoled by Lewis Hamilton's father, that it's okay, right, and you'll do well. And to bounce back from that, and to finish the season where you get a promotion slash demotion to Red Bull, and you're now Max Verstappen's teammate coming come 2026. So quite a season for the young man, and yeah, he also just had a single retirement this entire season.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Qatar again. He and Lance Stroll, I think they kind of had a incident at the end, and but he did get classified because he finished 90% of race distance. So, but I just two retirements. If even if you count that, is pretty impressive. Obviously, the DNS in Australia, but yeah, compared to Leon Lawson, who had like five retirements this season. Um, the first one obviously being in Red Bull, but yeah, Hadjar showing that despite Liam Lawson technically having more experience, as he raced last season, also the season before that when he stood in for Ricardo and then replaced Ricardo. Hajar has put in a brilliant showing in the team. So yeah, and to get a podium in your rookie season, that's unbelievable, right? So yeah, we'll see how next season goes, like you said. But yeah, a lot of hopes on that man for his second season. Hopefully, he can get some more podiums and maybe even a race win. If I mean, next season expected to be chaotic. But if yeah, and Red Bull seems to have gotten away with that engine, them and Mercedes, which we will discuss in a later
yeah.
episode. But a lot of drama already starting for 2026, and it's still 2025. So we'll see how Hajar does in his second season. But yeah, I think overall a good season for Racing Bulls, like you said. Uh, Liam Lawson took a while to get into points, but then he started. He also had some good points finishes, and Hajar obviously the more consistent driver by far this season out of the two. Um, yeah, and he'll remember that podium for a long time. Moving on to P5 is of course Williams, who had Alex Albon and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz, and it was a Jekyll and Hyde season for both drivers, right? Albon had by far the better first half of the season, and but Carlos came on its own in the second half, where he had two podium finishes and one in a sprint. So I mean, basically three podiums overall. He was on the podium in Baku, was on the podium in Doha, and he was on the podium in the sprint in Austin. And funny stat, Aniket, is that Albon, after Monza, did not have a points finish, except the Austin sprint. But yeah, apart from that, did not have a points finish at all in the last 8 races. In that same time, Carlos Sainz had two podiums and a sprint podium. What a turnaround, right? And they, of course, they finished very
Yeah,
close to each other on points. Carlos with 64 and Albon with 73. So, yeah, very close. I think Sainz would probably have finished ahead if he had a better first half of the season. But yeah, P5 for Williams. The progress is continuing. James Vowles is showing that he's a man. And yeah,
I
quite
think
a
James Todd is probably the best team principal in,
easily.
in in the sport right now. The way he carries the team, the way he carries himself, and everything.
And all the
He's
experience
kind of
that
a
he brings
revolution
from
there.
Mercedes as well, right? With
Yeah,
championship winning
he's kind of
years.
done a revolution there, Williams, and
Yeah.
they can look forward to some greater seasons ahead. And as you said, Jekyll and Hyde season for both. Carlos Sainz couldn't throw a stone in the ocean if he had to, and in the first half of the season, and it was the same case for
Yeah.
Alex Albon in the second half of the season. So a completely weird uh, season for both of them. But I think Carlos goes into next season with definitely more confidence and then Alex. And yeah, again, I would say that it's been a torrid run for Williams from 2015 onwards up till now.
Yeah.
And this is the first season in so many years that we actually felt like they could return to some of their I'm going to say glory days as well, some of their
Mm.
consistent podium days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, from the early 2000s and stuff. So good job from the team. I think everyone has more confidence than they ever had previously, and they can look forward to a greater season next year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, Williams, they've had quite a torrid time. I think. So just looking, if you look at their, points history, um, they used to win titles, right? They've had multiple title-winning drivers, right? They won the constructors, 4 times in the 80s. Then they won the constructors 5 times in the 90s, right? When you had, they had drivers like Nigel Mansell, Alan Prost, Damon Hill, Jacques Villeneuve, all of them who won championships with them, Alan Jones and, Nelson Piquet. They're also P2 a bunch of times, P3 a bunch of times in championship. And then after 2003, when they finished second with, the famous driver pairing of Juan Pablo Montoya and Ralf Schumacher, they haven't finished. They struggled to finish in the top two after they had a couple of third place finishes in the mid 2010s, but with Bottas and Massa. But it's been torrid, and 2018 was pretty much the low point when they finished 10th in the championship, right? With just 7 points. Just look at the drop off, Aniket. 2017, they finished fifth in the Constructors' Championship with 83 points. They were fifth in 2016 with 138 points, one more than this year's total, right? And this can be compared because, it's similar point scoring systems. And that 257 and 320 points in 14 and 15. And suddenly,
Yeah,
2018, 7 points, P10. 2019, 1 point, P10. 2020, 0 points, P10. Just absolutely horrible run of form. And yeah, they did try to sputter to 8th in 2021, but yeah, they really nothing
that's
much.
mainly because of George Russell.
George Russell, yeah. But
Yeah,
again, he
he
could
because
never.
of the Belgium result which he had, he finished P2. He got classified P2 there.
Which gave him like what 9 points or something.
Yeah,
But yeah, only from 2023 when Albon, kind of and James Walls took over. Have we seen them go on an upward trajectory? They were seventh in 2023. They had a bit of a reset in 2024 because that Logan Sargent and Colin Pinto driving for them. They were P9 again. But yeah, this season finally, Williams, they had a great season, right? A lot of points finishes, podiums, and they'll be hoping for something good to happen next year. Maybe the first, uh, you know, top three finish since 2015, which would be in like 10 years. In 10 years since they've been in the top three in the constructors. They used to be a mainstay, right? They used to be like second or third every season once upon a time. So, yeah, I think
I
Williams,
think they are slowly and surely returning
yeah,
to at least a regular top five positioning in
yeah.
the constructors. Which let's see if it carries on for next season.
Yeah, let's see if it carries on. But yeah, again, it's just shocking that their last, constructors and drivers title was way back in '97 when Jacques Villeneuve
Yeah,
won the championship, and even that, the driver's title was because of a certain Michael Schumacher being too hot-headed and crashing, you know, trying to crash him out at the end and getting disqualified. So it's been a long road for them ever since. So we'll see how 2026 goes. But yeah, again, good seasons for them, P5. And they locked up P5 pretty, I think what, with a few races left, right?
yeah.
So pretty comfortable P5 finish for them. We'll see how 2026 goes. Now coming to P4 in the championship, Aniket. P4! In the World Constructors Championship of 2025 was Ferrari. Ferrari had an absolutely torrid season. Not a single race win the entire season, except Lewis Hamilton in the sprint. And then Lewis Hamilton also did not have a single podium the entire season. He had 2 sprint podiums, the win in Shanghai, and he was third in Miami. But yeah, and Charles Leclerc also, what he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 podiums, 6 podiums. My bad, 6 podiums the entire season for Charles Leclerc, right? And nothing in the sprints for him. So, and they also had a double DSQ in Shanghai. They had a double DNF in Zandvoort and Sao Paulo. At least Sao Paulo was not their fault, but still, 2 double DNFs and a double DSQ in a season. You had 3 drivers score more points than them compared to that entire team, right? Yeah, Lando Norris, Verstappen, and Oscar Piastri scored more points than you. So just a disaster. And I think this is the worst season for Ferrari since 2020, if
Yeah,
I'm not
for sure.
mistaken, when they finished 6th in the championship or 5th. Sorry, I'm too depressed to remember their standings. But yeah, just horrible, man. Just horrible. Yeah, 2020, what they were, yeah, they were 6th, which was a really, really bad outing. And then they were third, second. Last year, they almost won the Constructors title. But yeah, this year we are 4th. What's your
I
take,
think I have
Aniket,
no
as the
words.
new Ferrari fan? Thanks to Lewis
I have
Hamilton.
no words. I think we spoke too much about Ferrari in all our race reviews, and
Yeah.
there's nothing left to say. There's like empty the tank. I've emptied all the things I had to say, all the emotions. So I'm kind of numb to Ferrari right now, and I am just waiting to see what they do for next season, which I have no expectations for as such.
Mm.
So, but I mean, 2025 was a disaster, as you said. I didn't expect Lewis Hamilton to have 0 podiums. I mean, we came into the season, we saw Lewis Hamilton's first picture with Ferrari, the full boss level Italian suit and everything, and we thought this is going to be the year Lewis is going to recapture glory. I mean, Ferrari is going to do well. Charles is going to do well. The first test showed some glimpses of the Ferrari car being half decent, but that was just a glimpse. That was just a pipe dream. We never got to see anything from this team except for that China sprint, which gave us a little bit of hope.
Oh
But in
man,
the same weekend, we had the double DSQ, which was
I
crazy.
remember the joy after that. Right? I remember we did instant reactions. We're like, oh, we
Yeah,
thought Lewis Hamilton like 3 or 4 races to get used to. He's already won a sprint. Lewis Hamilton is back, baby. Ferrari is back. Oh my. And that's it.
little did we know. I
Oh
think
man.
Ferrari, I think the FI needs to go and investigate that car from the sprint race and see. Maybe it was like illegal then as well or something.
No, I mean,
And
there are lesser number of laps, right? So the plank would not have worn down that much.
yeah, but the season just never improved for them. They just went downhill. Red Bull became better, McLaren became better, Mercedes became better, Williams became better, but Ferrari just kept going backward. And I think Charles Leclerc has put it plainly in perspective that next season is going to be what did he say? He said now or never for
Yeah.
next season. So yeah, it is now or never. It could again be Lewis last season next year. You never know. He's
Yeah.
got a contract 2027 apparently. So that eighth title is looking very very far at this point.
Oh man, I think
Eighth official title, I will say. So
I
it's
think
very
Lewis Hamilton has to first target, getting into
a win,
Q2.
a podium.
No, just get into Q2. He had
Yeah.
so many
Oh
Q1
yeah,
exits.
the wretched run of form he had towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, okay, let me get into Q2 first and then kind of, look at maybe podiums and winning a race. But yeah, like you said, absolutely wretched run of form. And even, the car has been so bad, Anike. Like, I don't know, Charles Leclerc has been just dragging that car all season to just crazy results, right? You had the race. They put Charles Leclerc in P3 in the driver rankings for the season because they're saying that's how bad that car is. That's how bad the Ferrari is. That the very fact that Leclerc got so many podiums, and don't forget he got a pole position in Hungary. He could have actually won that race if not for Ferrari being Ferrari. He finished P4 eventually, but he had a good shot to even win the race. And do you remember, Aniket, after the qualifying at the Hungaroring, they asked Charles like, "Hey Charles, how's the car? How do you finish on pole?" And Charles like, "I don't know." My God.
Yeah, yeah. And also, Lewis Hamilton's race engine needs to be replaced. We need a new race engine for Lewis Hamilton, man. Come on.
Okay.
That definitely has to happen.
I think you're going to be disappointed, Aniket, because a news report came out this week that Lewis Hamilton and Ricardo Adami had a very nice dinner, and Hamilton is very excited to continue to partner with him next year.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
man. Don't tell me.
So, yeah, I guess Adami is good at the parts of race engineering that don't involve talking to your driver. But yeah, man, it's been absolutely hilarious to see some of the Adami and Lewis Hamilton conversations this year.
Right up to the last lap of
Exactly.
the last race.
Yeah. Hamilton,
I
like,
think
please don't tell me, and Adami continues to tell him.
And when Lewis is expecting something, he just disappeared.
Crickets. Oh man. Yeah, there's also what Lewis Hamilton's by far worst season ever.
Possible.
Right.
Definitely.
This man, I mean, to be honest, before he came to Ferrari, I respected Lewis Hamilton, but I was never such a big fan because he gave us Ferrari fans so much heartbreak over the years, right? Right from his first season, where he almost won the damn thing, right? And only because of beaching the car in China or whatever, he kind of missed out on this title in his rookie season. I mean, Lewis Hamilton has been a force to reckon with. 7 titles, plenty of P2s and P3s. Did he ever finish less than P3 or P4 ever? I can't win.
Yeah. I think in Mercedes, one of those 2-3 seasons with Mercedes in the last.
Oh no, I think McLaren. Yeah, okay. He had a bad run with.
Yeah.
I think McLaren when he was
He-
5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 4th. But then
2009, I think he definitely did not finish in the top 5. Or
no, I think
I think it was
2009
just
he was 5th, and then he was 5th
fifth.
and 4th for those 5 years. The last 4 seasons with McLaren and his first Mercedes season. But then he went on an absolute
I think
stormer.
2022 or 3 he was 6th.
Yeah, 2022 was 6th and 2024 he was 7th. But even
But
2024 when he was 7th, he had more points than this season. He had 2.
And he won 2 races.
Exactly.
In 2024.
He had 2 race wins, right? So yeah, just a very, very unbelievable season. He had also 5 podiums last year despite being 7th. I think last year just a very tight championship, So yeah, man, it's just a very bad season for Lewis Hamilton. So
as a Lewis Hamilton fan, it's been the most painful season because every race we came into the expectation this is going to be the race, this is going to be the race,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we never got to see that. We never got to see it.
yeah. We never got to see that. Anyways, let's not talk too much about Ferrari, otherwise we'll be here all night. Let's move on to P3. P3 is a very surprising team, Red Bull Racing. Again, Red Bull finished just 18 points with Mercedes. Red Bull would have had a better season if the second driver, either of the second driver could drive, because out of 451 points that Red Bull scored this year, Max Verstappen scored 421. And the rest was Yuki Tsunoda. Again, Yuki Tsunoda scored 33 points, but only 30 went to Red Bull because 3 points were his sprint result in China when he was with Racing Bulls. But this has to be such a diabolical season if you compare the two drivers, Aniket. Max Verstappen almost won the title. He missed out by 2 points. Yuki Tsunoda was P17 with the only drivers that he beat were Pierre Gasly, Gabriel Bortoleto, and the two Alpine of Colapinto and Doohan, right?
Who had 0 points.
Who had 0 points, right? And then Bortoleto is a rookie. Gasly was in a shit box. And actually, if my math is not wrong, I think Gasly was ahead of Yuki Tsunoda for a large part of the season. Uh, just what a season! Like, just I have
Yeah,
no words. Like,
I think here we have Max Verstappen who could have won the title,
yes,
and then we have a second half for Red Bull who probably scores 0 points every race.
yeah,
So which is absolutely insane. And I've never seen such a contrast between two drivers of a team. And I don't think we'll ever see it because the Red Bull is designed so much to be Verstappen's team and Verstappen's car that the other driver barely has a chance to fit in into the team. So I think it's slightly changing with Laura Macias coming in. So
hmm
we'll see how it pans out next season. But yeah, man, what a season for them! What a comeback from Verstappen. Firstly, we respect that. Even as non-Verstappen fans, as neutrals, and yeah, I mean, if not for Lando Norris's cool head in the last couple of races, I think McLaren almost messed it up, and Verstappen would have easily got the title in the last race in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, I mean, I think Verstappen is going to evaluate his options for sure from next season onwards. Mercedes is still looming large, so we want to see how the new powertrains come in and how they work with Red Bull's car, and see how Red Bull start 2026, and then take it from there. And Isaac Hajar definitely is going to be a welcome addition to the team. I think Yuki Tsunoda definitely lost all his confidence, and now he's reserved. He's relegated to being just a test driver for them,
yeah.
which is a little sad after what he's gone through. And yeah, I think third place is definitely a well deserved third place for them, I would say. And
Yeah, just a
uh,
comeback after the summer
yeah,
break for them, right? Just absolutely insane. The way they just stormed through the pack, capitalized on the mistakes of their title rivals. That's McLaren. Um, just an insane run of form towards the end. Max Verstappen obviously extracting everything out of the car and
yeah,
capitalizing on literally every mistake that his compatriots made. Right. Um, I think this season will be remembered as even if he did not win the championship. I think many people would probably think that he should have won the championship just for the you know the kind of performances he put towards the end. And it was such a close thing that I know Max doesn't doesn't like people saying this, but if you know if he did not have that hot head in Spain, for example, right, where he just rammed into, who was it, George Russell, and kind of finished 10th, got penalties. Or let's say, if I don't know, if Kimi Antonelli did not take him out in Austria, or if Kimi Antonelli did not hold him up so much in Sao Paulo, or held up Lando Norris in Qatar, like, it was a very, very close title fight, right? For example, Lando Norris will be really thanking his stars that
yeah.
remember
And Verstappen won
that
more
swap
races
that
than
happened that swap that happened in Monza, where they swapped Norris and Piastri. That basically won Lando the title.
Verstappen won more races than Norris. Also, I couldn't at the end of the season. That's
Yeah,
crazy
he
to
won the
me.
most races out of anyone, 8 races, right? Both the McLaren boys only won 7.
Yeah,
So yeah, absolutely insane season by Max Verstappen. But yeah, like you said, the gap between the drivers, man, like, this is insane. Like, even for example, 2020, when you had Alex Albon, even that time the gap was not so much. Albon got like podiums and stuff that year. Even 2024, when Perez was not 20, was it 24? Yeah, 24, when Perez was derided so much Perez got a lot of points this season. He had points finishes, podium finishes, and all such things. Even 2019 when Albon and who was the guy Pierre Gasly switched, they still had a lot of points, right? They
Yeah,
scored close to 100 points, and they were like P8 and P7. So yeah, man, I don't know where this leaves Yuki Tsunoda because I mean every previous driver has also said that this is a car made for Max. You had Alex Albon telling in an interview that the car is so sensitive, it's hard to drive if you're not Max Verstappen, right? Because the front
I
is
think
so
Perez did
sensitive.
the same thing.
Perez said the same thing, but they still managed to put that car places, right? I think Yuki Tsunoda's season has just been so absolutely nowhere, right? This entire year. Um, yeah, it's just hard to judge how his season happened, right? Um, yeah. So before we move on from Red Bull, Aniket, just quick question to you on Yuki Tsunoda. Do you think he's ever coming back to F1 in any team?
I think that depends on which team wants him.
Yeah, it's hard to see,
Because
right? I mean,
it's
his
hard to see
performance
right
this
now.
season has been so bad. I mean,
I
if
mean, unless Racing Bulls want him again to replace one of the drivers. If Liam
yeah,
Lawson or the other, I forgot the guy who's replacing
I was Limblad.
Isaac Hadja. Yeah, if Arvid Lindblad also does
Hmm.
not do well. So yeah, but apart from that, it's very hard to see at this point.
Yeah, it's very hard to see because even in 2019 when Albon took over, he still got good points. Even Danny Kvyat got more points than this man. So I think Kvyat was probably the last driver who really struggled
Yeah, yeah.
for Red Bull, and he hasn't been. He basically had to retire. He lost his girl. He lost his seat. He lost everything. So yeah, I think I fear a similar fate awaits Yuki Tsunoda. I struggle to see which team would even take a chance on him after that performance with Red Bull this year. Anyways, that's Red Bull. We have two teams left, and yeah, Mercedes, man. Uh, Mercedes had a great season, Aniket, comparative to the pre-season expectations. Obviously, they would have much preferred to have their engine win the title in their own car,
Yeah.
but I think if you
I
look
didn't
at,
even we got to. Did we get to Red Bull and Ferrari's preseason prediction, which we had? What was it for us?
oh sorry, I completely forgot to talk about that. We predicted Ferrari P2 and Red Bull as P3, and Red Bull was P3, but Ferrari obviously disappointed us.
Yeah.
We predicted Mercedes P4 because yeah, nobody
So
really.
Lewis Hamilton was leaving and stuff.
Lewis was leaving, and also Mercedes. I mean, if you look at the ground effect era, they never got a handle on the car, right? They always struggled through the entire ground effect era, right? They've been compared to their high standards ending in 21, they've been really bad the last 4 seasons. So I think that's why we probably expected them to be behind, say, the top three of McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull. But man, Mercedes have gone P2. I think they have outshone expectations this year. George Russell is the only driver apart from the top three who won a who won a race, right? He and I'm cutting main races, of course.
One in Canada and Vegas, right?
Yes, he won in Canada and Vegas. Again, Vegas was something Max Verstappen would regret that if he could have just gotten past George Russell, he probably won the title, right? But again, that's all a big what if. But yeah, so George Russell had a very good season, has to be said. He had,
Yeah. I think his best season in F1. And a lot of people underrated him, right? George Russell up to the season
yeah,
in terms of him being a team leader and whatnot. But he's shown this season clearly that he is
yeah,
a team leader for Mercedes and he did a great job throughout the season. And
yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
he's
a lot of
got
people are writing off, right? They're like, oh, Kimi Antonelli will do better, and we saw lots of such stupid takes from the
yeah.
F1 community. But Russell has shut everyone up with that performance.
And he's a championship contender going to next season if they
Yeah,
say Mercedes could have the best engine and all
hmm,
that. So if that's the case, then
easily.
definitely George Russell
Yeah,
is
yeah,
an easy contender
easily,
for
easily.
next year's championship. And Kimi Antonelli, don't forget rookie season.
Oh
He
man,
had a very horrible start to his rookie season, but towards the latter half of the season, he did exceed expectations with especially that Brazil result where he shone
yeah,
so well under pressure from Verstappen towards the end. He had a great result in I think Austin as well.
Yeah, yeah.
In Austin
So
as well.
yeah, Kimi Antley, I mean, yeah, just to quickly correct you, didn't have a horrible start to the season. He had like horrible middle part of the season.
Horrible middle part. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where he had like 4 retirements, and
Yeah.
he had a podium in Canada, but that was like flanked by 2 retirements on either side, and an 18th place finish in Monaco. But uh, he had 2 podiums towards the end of the season, right? In Sao Paulo and Vegas. He also had a sprint
Yeah.
podium in Sao Paulo. Um,
Vegas. Sorry, not Austin. Yeah.
yeah, I think Austin he finished eighth in the sprint, but yeah, nothing much else there. But yeah, I think Kimi had a great rookie season, right? I mean, obviously he had the best car, but you know, in your rookie season to finish just 6 points behind a seven-time world champion. Now that is saying something, right? You're just 6 points behind Lewis Hamilton. So
Yeah, and he definitely is primed for better years in the future.
yeah,
He did have a, I mean, half decent rookie season, and
mm,
again, Mercedes, if they have a good car next year, he could do even better
yeah,
next year, and he could be a good backup to George while he develops his own skills towards being a championship contender
mm-hmm,
in the next few years as well. So it's all looking bright for Mercedes. I mean, they had a good season this year, and next season is looking bright for them as we even speak right now. So
yeah.
I think they exceeded expectation, as you said. We predicted them what P4 in the
Yeah,
constructors.
both of
They
us predicted them P4th, but yeah, they were
finished
an excellent
P2,
season.
and George Russell outshone everyone's expectations as well. So
Yeah, I honestly, I know we trolled George Russell a lot on this pod, but I honestly didn't expect him to do as well as he did this season. He had 2 pole positions, and he converted both the pole positions to wins. And that's not easy when P2 in both the races is Max Verstappen. So I know they both have a history, but that's just some amazing driving to keep Max Verstappen behind you twice, and also Kimi Antonelli to keep Max Verstappen behind you in that race in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, and also Aniket in Sao Paulo that weekend. Kimi Antonelli was the second fastest driver throughout the entire weekend. Sprint qualifying, race, full race. He was just second in all competitive sessions. To do that in your rookie season is, I think, something very, very commendable when you have drivers like Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, your own teammate George Russell and Oscar Piastri all ahead of you in the pecking order, and also drivers like Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. To be the second best driver through an entire weekend in every competitive session is just, uh, I think it shows why. It shows us why Toto really wanted Kimi Antonelli so badly, right? He forewent hiring Carlos Sainz on a longer contract, right? He only offered Carlos a 1+1 um, because he wanted Kimi so bad, and he probably would have sent Kimi to the Williams instead of Sainz going there. In all likelihood, if Sainz took the deal. But yeah, I think Toto was always very adamant that he wants Kimi Antonelli, right? And also, even in the what last year when they did multiple rounds of testing, he gave a lot of testing mileage to Kimi Antonelli, and yeah, that's a great season for Mercedes. Overperformed their expectations. Before we talk about the winners, Aniket, do you think Lewis Hamilton would regret leaving that team? He would,
no,
right?
I don't think he would, because mindset was clear. He wanted to race for many more years in F1, and Mercedes was not giving that. So I mean, there would be regret in terms of the results he could have probably got with the better
Yeah.
car.
Hmm.
But in terms of the his future plans, he always wanted to race for more time, which probably Mercedes was not giving him, considering
But
they
weren't the
didn't want
last
to
few
lose the
contracts with
company.
Mercedes all like 1+1 kind of deals, right?
Yeah, but they wanted him out. I mean, not out, but they wanted him. They wanted to seriously consider Antonelli in
Yeah.
that seat, and there wasn't certainty on Lewis racing beyond 26.
Hmm.
So the only regret would be the car, and not like the
Yeah, the
racing. Or
car finally getting good after you leave the team, right?
yeah,
You struggle for three
you,
seasons, do
you give
all
all
sorts
your
of
energy.
experiments on
Yeah,
yourself, right?
and now it's getting better. So
Yeah.
that would probably be the regret.
Yeah. Anyways, we are
Mhm.
at the end. We are at the one remaining team that won the constructors title with multiple races to spare, McLaren. Uh, both of us predicted them to finish at the top in preseason predictions. But Aniket, I don't think either of us would have predicted the season to go this strongly for them. And if not for their, missteps in the second half after the summer break, and they should have, even wrapped with the driver's title pretty early, right? So actually, after Vegas, I think they should have wrapped it up. So yeah, but again, eventually a dominant season for them, right? Of course, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri kind of a lot of 1-2s between them. There were 1-2 in China. There were 1-2 in Miami, Spain, Austin, Silverstone, Belgium, Hungary. Yeah, that's it. But that's a lot. That's a lot of 1-2s for a team in a season.
Yeah,
And they also had a 1-3 in Bahrain. So yeah, and yeah, there are 2-3 in Monza. There are 2-3 in Imola. So yeah, where does McLaren go from here? Can they defend? Like, this is obviously a spectacular season for them. We talked about Williams, but McLaren also had a very, very bad run of form, right? We joked about Fernando Alonso, who struggled a lot
GP2
with
engine.
them. Yes, GP2.
They've
Yes,
gone a
the
lot. They've
GP2
come a lot.
engine.
I think Lewis Hamilton's last season there was 2012,
Yes.
and since then up till the last couple of years, they've been on a horrible run of form.
Yeah, they were.
And there were questions that McLaren might become the new Williams and be the bottom feeder of the constructors
Yeah, yeah. I
pack.
mean, they were right. Like
Mercedes game of fun.
2015, and just look at this. 2015, they were ninth. Alonso's 3 seasons with 4 seasons with them. They were ninth, sixth, ninth, and sixth. Right. They had Alonso and Magnussen. They had Stoffel Van Dorn. Like, they're all kind of random drivers racing for them. Next to Alonso, right? And then finally, of course, 2019 is when Lando came on board, and Zach Brown also kind of, I think, around that time took over.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and got the Renault power unit, and then eventually switched to Mercedes in 2021. But yeah, man, first, the first title after such a long
First
time.
double, first double after '98. First World Drivers' Championship for a McLaren driver since 2008.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time coming. I mean, they've gone on that winning trajectory from last couple of seasons. They
Mm,
have a clear plan. They got an Andrea Stella. They got in Peter Prodromo. A lot of these high-profile names who could rebuild the team again, right from the top. So, I mean, there was concern towards the end of the year whether they could actually pull out the drivers
mm,
with how I would say the strategy they were employing in terms
yes.
of allowing the two drivers to race and
Yeah.
the mismanagement of strategies, and then the Qatar DSQs for both the drivers at the wrong time. So there were a lot of concerns from the WDC perspective, but they kind of just held on and pulled it off at the end. And in terms of the World Constructors Championship, I think they were the far and away the most consistent team with the two most consistent drivers as well. So I think they have a shot to defend at least the World Constructors Championship because both of these drivers are very good. They're consistent in the results. So as long as McLaren gives them winning car and Mercedes power unit is good, I think they should be good. And in terms of the championship as well, the World Drivers Championship, I think there's going to be more drivers in play next season with the new sets of regulation. It's kind of an open book. So
Yeah. Yeah.
whoever gets in first, whoever takes advantage of the situation first, it's going to be there till the end of the season. So it's going to be tough to call it right now. I don't think we can call a championship favorite next season
Mm.
because it's a new regulation set. But these two drivers will definitely be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, absolutely. These two guys will obviously be there, and yeah, they finally wrapped up a very, very dominant season for both of them. I think they had, sorry, this is just quick maths here, but I think there are like 12 or 13 double podium finishes this year which is just absolutely insane. The dominance that they've shown. I mean, they effectively are two number one drivers, right? So the only thing they were doing is taking points away from each other. I mean, they both scored more than 400 points. Ferrari as a team could not score 400 points. So that just shows how dominant the season was. And like you said, Andrea Stella, Zach Brown, all of these people, they've done a lot to bring this team up, right?
Back from the trenches.
But exactly back from the trenches. I mean, Landon Norris and Zach Brown have literally been there since, the beginning in 2019 when Landon Norris joined the team. So it's been a long road for both of them, which finally culminated in a title. So yeah, and as you say, it's a Landon Norris era right now that we're living in. He's going to take the number one car next year, and I think McLaren would still maintain their no number one driver policy just because they want to keep both drivers. But yeah, it's the fact that I mean, you defended your constructors title. I mean, obviously 2024 was a bit of a scrap at the end, and they kind of maintained their calm heads, and they had a fantastic show in Abu Dhabi when they Lando Norris won the race and basically sealed the title for them. But also this year, I think, despite the hiccups after the summer break, a lot of it was, of course, Oscar Piastri falling out of form and Lando Norris coming back, making that comeback. And yeah, I think, like the strategy. Was the recent video, Max Verstappen getting gifts. He's like, you should give a chessboard to McLaren for strategy. That man has jokes. But I think McLaren will be very happy with the season. The drivers finished P1 and P3 in the championship. Could have been P1 and P2 in the championship as well.
Should have been P2.
Should have been, yeah. I think Oscar will definitely assess where he can improve. I think a lot of the low grip circuits he struggled season after the summer break. He was insanely strong in Europe. He just won races for fun in the first half of the season. I mean, out of his 7 wins, I think 6 of them came before the summer break. So just an insane run of form from him. But I think McLaren will be very happy with that season, right? Team to beat. They are the team to beat. They're the drivers to beat, and a very, very memorable season for them all throughout. Strongest team on track. Anyways, that's been it. Once again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. This is possibly the last episode this year. We'll see if we get a special episode. We'll can always, you can watch it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to be notified.
It's been a long season.
It's been a long season.
We've covered all the races on this channel.
Yeah.
So
we started in February this year, just around testing, and it's been a long run. And next year is going to be another long season with another 24 races coming up. So we'll be here on Pod in the Apex covering everything for you. So make sure not to miss it. Make sure to subscribe. Tell your friends. Make sure to subscribe so that you're notified when either we drop the first video next year or we drop a special video this year. Who knows, right? But we'll be back. 2026 is a new era, new regulations. We'll be back with an entire coverage of the new regulation era. So stay tuned to Pod in the Apex, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.